Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we explore the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Milan Kohut, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced, the lessons learned, and the strategies fueling future growth. Today, I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined by Britt Sprattlin. Sorry, let me just go back because for some reason I was thinking about something else. My bad on this.
It's all good. I do that too with names. You get in your head about it.
Yeah. Today I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined by Britt Sprattlin, the founder of Growing Your Traffic, an award-winning SEO agency that drives massive website traffic without paid ads for national brands, local businesses, and home contractors. She targets profitable keywords to deliver fast ROI on a month-to-month basis with no long-term contracts, earning rave client reviews for rapid results, like one calling her an SEO magic woman who outperforms others. Her clients highlight technical audits, video walkthroughs, and top-notch service that boosts rankings and leads quickly. With that being said, Britt, let me officially welcome you to Founders Future.
Thank you so much. It's so good to be here. Thanks for hosting me, Milan.
Oh, it's great to have you. We're going to have so much fun. There's a lot of things that I would love to cover. So we're just going to jump right in. And how I love to open up with every single one of my guests is with a bit of a time travel, really. So when it comes to your business, before launching this current venture, what was that journey like before? And then eventually, what was the motivation for even getting into this space?
Yeah. So honestly, it started with just wanting to share some things that I was learning in college. This was about 13 years ago. I was a freshman at a university pretty far away from my hometown. And I launched a blog just for fun. And I didn't expect anybody to read it. And then basically felt like overnight, it was several months later that my website actually crashed from the amount of people visiting my website. I had tens of thousands of people come in just the span of a few hours. And it was on Blogger. It used to be called Blogspot back in the day. So it was like a free blogger.com, blogspot.com website. And it just totally crashed. I couldn't support all those visitors. And so I realized there's a really huge opportunity here. Like what I'm sharing, I was just sharing things like dorm room crafts and like ways to take better notes in college and things like that. And I realized that a lot of people wanted to see those things. A lot of people were sharing those things, and a lot of people were Googling those things. And I was showing up in Google searches without even realizing it. So basically, that gave me this big aha moment of, oh, there's a lot of people on the internet that are clicking and looking for information and looking to get their questions answered. And obviously, this is way before the age of AI where you could just type it into a chatbot. But I just realized that huge power of organic search. And I think that was just the game changing moment for me that made me go, oh, this is pretty valuable. Like I can bring a lot of people to a website by getting my website showing up in these organic searches.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure from that moment and with you really starting this, like treating this as a business opportunity, I'm pretty sure there was a lot of different iterations of the business, and it's
Oh,
it's very different in terms of what it looks like now as it used to maybe 10 years ago. But you know what? The funny thing is when it comes to SEO, I know for a fact I'm coming from a marketing background myself, so I know that the majority of business owners and people in business they're having like a love and hate relationship with SEO. So
oh
it's
yeah.
definitely not easy to be a part of your industry. So hats off to you for being a part of that for such a long time. But to really talk about where this journey got you overall and what the business looks like today, let's build some clarity for the audience in terms of who is it exactly that you're describing as your avatar or that ICP, your ideal client, and also which one of those services that you provide are really the biggest focus for you right now.
Yeah, great questions. I will say you're absolutely right. That has changed a lot. And there's been a lot of iterations of my business, starting from just affiliate marketing and doing sponsorships to switching to actually be on the agency side where I'm providing these results for clients. So, right now, our primary avatar, the person that we like to serve, is really any business owner looking for more leads. So, that's either on a national or international level or on a local level. Basically, anybody that's looking for more visibility and that wants to have more people finding them to solve their problems, that's the person that we serve. So our main bread and butter is our SEO and AIO, which is one package. And essentially that's just getting our clients to to get found in both traditional and AI searches. So the traditional SEO side being Google, Yahoo, Bing, and then the AI side being Grok, Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, all the voice searches like Siri and Alexa. So it's a mix of both because thankfully there's a lot of crossover. So one strategy can work really well for both. There are some nuances. So we do different things to get our clients found on those different platforms. But overall, it's one big strategy. So that's our main thing that we like to offer is getting our clients found in all of those searches across all the platforms. So they're the authority, they're the go-to. And again, that's really any industry. It's all the same thing, whether you're trying to get found on a local or a national level. We just love getting people found in searches. So that's what we do.
100%. Yeah, Britt, I just realized with my question, for some people listening to this right now, it's going to be like, hey, why are you asking about the core offering? Like, duh, obviously it's going to be SEO. But with you really focusing on the artificial intelligence side of things, I think this is making a big shift when it comes to your industry. Obviously, we need
Oh,
to learn
yeah.
how to optimize for search engines within AI. But I'm curious though, I think every single professional in your industry has a different sort of angle towards the offer, different sort of approach. But currently, what is the ratio between you really focusing on the SEO still, but also with the AI?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I will say that people in our industry can't even decide what to call it. So you might hear it called AEO, which is AI engine optimization, GEO, generative engine optimization, AIO, artificial intelligence, optimization. Anyway, we can't even agree what to call it right now. So you're absolutely right. There's a lot of different approaches. Ours really, it really comes back to our main SEO strategy. So there's really three key components to that. One is talking to these platforms correctly. So making sure that websites are set up to really clearly communicate with these platforms. Hey, this is what this website is offering. These are the services. This is how we help people. These are questions that we're answering in this industry. We are the authority. We are the person that you want to cite when people ask these kinds of questions. So that's number one. Is setting it all up to talk to all the platforms. Number two is making sure that it's relevant, engaging content. So making sure that we're posting things on the website on a consistent basis, keeping it fresh, lots of blog content, FAQs, new products, all those things to keep it exciting and fresh. And then the third thing is authority. So I think that authority piece is the part that's changed a lot in SEO because in the good old days you could just get a couple websites to link to yours and you were good, but now obviously Google has changed a lot in the last decade, and now with AI coming out too, they're all looking at authority pieces differently. So there's a lot that we do overall with our authority building strategy, but it really comes down to still getting your website linked to other website or linked to by other websites on the internet. So we call that a backlink in the SEO world. So backlinks are still always going to be the gold standard for getting authority, and they need to be good quality, like consistent, like on a regular basis in your industry or niche if possible, but also really good quality. You don't want a bunch of spammy links that you just like paid someone $10 on Fiverr to create for you. You want it to be really good quality links. And then with AI, they want to see that you're just being talked about. So you don't actually even need the links anymore to get mentioned on these AI platforms. You just need that brand recognition just across the internet. So they're scanning the entire internet, basically, these AI platforms are, to see, are you being talked about? Are people posting about you in groups? Are you like getting good reviews across the internet? Are people maybe mentioning you in a podcast? Like they can see transcripts for videos and audio and everything. So they want to know, are you being talked about on the internet? And so getting our clients talked about is really a big way that we're getting them to show up in AI searches.
Oh God, I'm getting so many flashbacks right now. Like what it used to look like with link building maybe like seven,
Oh,
eight
yeah.
years ago and what it's now. Like there is so
Oh,
much
it's
more
so different.
complexity right now. Yeah, that's insane.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That
you
was
know,
the golden era.
the funniest thing is that we used to complain about what it was
Yeah.
back then.
So true. We didn't know how good we had it.
Oh, that's crazy. But that's how it typically works, you know. So we just have to adjust. And by the way, I think at the beginning of this conversation, I said I have a lot of admiration for anybody in your industry because when it comes to AI and optimizing for all of those search engines, there is so much evolution that we see pretty much on a daily basis
Oh,
that
yeah.
you know to keep track of everything and stay on top of everything, that's a big job right there, right? So like that's
Hmm.
at least from my perspective, that's a big negative side of being in this industry. But again, I mean, hats off to you. But Britt, what I like to think about is overall the scalability, right? Like of your company, of your project, of this operation. When it comes to done for you services, obviously that's going to get a little bit more challenging as you grow, right?
Yeah.
You need a lot more specialists, a lot more other people on the done for you side to really deliver, fulfill. So I guess my question is, what are your thoughts on like what is going to be the most scalable model for the company to make sure that you can really just keep growing, keep scaling, keep having a bigger impact? Is it perhaps getting more into the consulting side of things, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I will say you're absolutely right that when you grow, it gets more challenging. We've actually, in the last 3 months, like in this first quarter, we've doubled our agency from where we were last year. So we have quite a few more clients, and all of our systems broke. And so a lot of my time right now is just going into outsourcing. So it's just training things better, systemizing things better, and hiring more virtual assistants as needed to plug in those gaps. Because yeah, it definitely can get a little bit overwhelming as you add more clients and you realize, oh, these systems were set up to support X amount of clients, but now we have Y amount of clients and it's not supporting that anymore. And so we need to start growing and shifting and changing things. So I would say that outsourcing more is really has been my key. And that's really what my biggest challenge is right now is like getting more and more trained out to my team so that they can handle more of our client work, stuff that I'm still doing that I'm like, I shouldn't be doing this. My team should be doing this. So it's just a matter of me sitting down and writing the SOPs and recording the training and then training that out to my team. But then the other piece is moving with speed because it's really hard. I think when we get into a really comfortable place, like I've heard it said, the enemy to a great life is a good life. And sometimes with growth, we get a little bit comfy and we're like, oh, this is great. Like, I'm not struggling anymore. Like, financially, things are looking great. I'm good. When really, it's like if you get too comfortable, things are going to start slipping. Results are going to start going down. Clients are not going to be as happy. They might start quitting on you. And now you're kind of back to square one. So, not only is it a matter of like getting your team to do more for you and outsourcing more and training more, but also doing that with speed, I think is the even bigger challenge sometimes.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought, though. I was actually having a conversation about this with somebody else a couple months ago, and I remember that a part of what I said was basically that it's funny how it works, but when it comes to business, it's pretty much impossible to just sort of like maintain one level from a
Yeah.
long perspective. So you can even progress or digress, right?
Yep.
There's nothing in between. So it really is going to come back to the systems and processes that you have in place. But also, you mentioned that in the last 3 months, so pretty much this year alone so far, you basically doubled the size of the agency. So obviously, there is something that you're doing incredibly right. And I'm going to
Yeah.
use this opportunity. So we're going to dive into this. And when it comes to your marketing efforts and just making sure that you're showing up to people, you're getting in the room with the right people, doing it at the right time, what are those legion slash marketing efforts that you're really focusing on right now to have this ability to continually onboard new and new clients?
Yeah, great question. So we do use SEO and AIO on our own website, but I will say right now, I think the thing that's working the best for us is in-person networking, and I think that is because of AI. Believe it or not, I think that the more that AI and just digital stuff takes over, the more burnt out people are feeling by it, and the more that people want to go back to that basic in-person, like face-to-face connection. And especially where I live, I'm north of Seattle in a little town that is very hyper local. Like everybody here loves to shop local, they love to support local. And so we found that it's just really effective for us to not just connect in person with local business owners, but actually to establish partnerships with local agencies that have already done that work. So that's my main secret sauce is getting face to face with people, but getting face to face with partners, people that can refer multiple clients to you, because that's how we've grown so fast. Is that we've established some partnerships with people that sell other things, like they design websites and they sell PPC ads and they do like organic social and things like that that we don't offer. But they have clients that want SEO. So we're able to client share that way. Sometimes it's a white label partnership, sometimes it's just referral. But that's how we've been able to grow our client base so quickly is just by getting in front of those people, establishing that connection and getting them to trust us, but also us trusting them too. So establishing that trust. And then that's how we've been able to add a lot of clients rather than just one at a time.
Strategic partnerships. I love the sound of
Yeah.
that. It's very smart. Now, when it comes to social media, though, like obviously there is a lot that you do with your own SEO. You're getting those strategic partnerships. Social media, generally speaking, are you guys currently focusing on the organic side of things and just building your content base and just staying engaged with the audience, or is it more about the paid side of social media to create more volume even on there, or what is your relationship with that?
Yeah, great question. Currently, we are kind of ditching social media just because we're finding that other things are working really well for us. And so that is something that we're going to add to our strategy before the end of this year. And we do kind of post like sporadically every now and then, especially if I'm like part of some kind of collaboration and, it's like, I'll post for you, you post for me kind of a thing. But we're just finding that we like to do things really well. And so right now we're all in on in-person connections and like doing in-person networking and building strategic partnerships that way, as well as doing our own SEO and building out the client side really well. And so once we've completed those projects, that's when we're going to go all in on social. And so we've got a whole strategy. We've got like the bones of it built out. We have a ton. We have like hundreds of hours of stuff filmed. It's just a matter of getting our team to edit the stuff, have it uploaded, like have it all scheduled out. And we just haven't felt like we're in a place yet that we want to spend that time, energy, and effort to do that yet because the other stuff is working so well for us. So it is something that we're going to add. It's just kind of later on the docket. Which is honestly like one of the hardest parts of being in business is feeling like there's all these things we want to do. Like we have all these YouTube videos we can upload. We have like all these great ideas for LinkedIn and for like reels on Instagram. And like we have all these amazing ideas. And right now we're like, just put it in the bank, put it in the content bank. And when we're ready to launch, it's all there waiting for us. And we're going to go full speed ahead on social. But we just think that that's probably a better use of our time and our energy and our bandwidth right now, is to just kind of bank it until we can go all in and do it in excellence. And right now, the projects that we're focusing on, the partnerships, doing a lot of collaborative things like that, and then making sure our clients are getting really good results. That's really our focus for at least the rest of this quarter, which we've got like 2 weeks left.
You know what? It's funny how many people are on the exact opposite of that spectrum, right? Like there are some people who are literally they have no idea how to even start building that content and having all
Mhm.
of this at their disposal, and there's you, which like you have just too much for right now,
Yeah,
and you
it
really
it
have to
does feel like we
start
have too
thinking
much.
about prioritization,
Mhm.
100%. But when it comes to this, there is still like either way, even if you're not really leveraging on the full potential of social media there's already several moving pieces. So I'm curious, are you like intentionally building this out from within the company? Meaning, for example, having a full-blown marketing department for you guys only to really work on the strategy, having a sales team getting into those interactions, whether that's online, whether that's in person, and driving sales, or how do you approach building those teams within your own company?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the best way to approach building it is to make sure that your processes are solid first before you try and hand it off to somebody else and teach somebody else. And then on the other side, if you're going to hire someone to come in and do it for you, like hire an agency or a freelancer who has experience in this, make sure that you know at least a little bit of what's going on there, because I've seen it happen before where people will hire someone out without any knowledge of what they are hiring for, and you can get screwed that way. So I think it's just really important to know at least the basics of the thing that you're hiring out before you hire it out, whether it's something that you're training yourself, which in that case, you should really know a lot more about it, or if it's somebody that you're hiring on who you're trusting to be the expert in that thing, you should at least have some kind of baseline knowledge of what that thing is. So, specifically for us, my husband is doing all of our sales. So, we both are full time in on the business. And so, right now, it's really just him and the strategic partnerships he's created. So he's got a lot of agency partners that are basically doing the sales for us, and he's sitting in and kind of coaching them on it, and he'll like join in on the sales meetings if that makes sense. So he's kind of indirectly built out a sales team that way, and he will hire a sales manager and some sales reps at some point. But again, it comes down to the processes. So he still feels like he's building out the scripts. We have quite a few scripts already. Like we are pretty clear on how to qualify people to work with us and things like that. And his closing script is really solid. But he still feels like he's like building out some of that stuff, like follow-up scripts and frameworks and things like that. And so, so he's waiting until he feels like that is a really solid process before he hands that off to somebody else. And then on the flip side, I started to feel like okay, our systems are breaking. We really need to make sure our operations are in really good standing right now. Like, I want to make sure that we're delivering really excellent results to these clients that we have before we keep piling on more. So, we've kind of put the brakes on our growth the last few weeks just to settle in a little bit more and go and just kind of check in with ourselves, check in with our processes, and make sure that we are delivering really good results. Make sure that we do have really good sales processes and scripts. And then the same goes for marketing. We've got some VAs that are helping a little bit here and there with marketing stuff. But I'm the head of our marketing, and I still feel like I'm building out quite a bit of our marketing processes, like our email newsletters that we send out and the social content that we just talked about. Like, there's a lot of pieces of our marketing that our team is helping me with, but also things that I put on the back burner that when we get a little bit more clarity on what this is going to look like, that's when I'll have our team come in more. I hope that makes sense.
Oh, it does. And to be honest, it's tough for me now to transition to something else because you mentioned so many good things that I would just love to dive deeper into all of those. But still, I think that you made an excellent point where when you were talking about the alignment that you feel on the client side, I think a lot of people, when it comes to hiring, they either hire prematurely or they end up talking to like an outside help, maybe a third party agency that they're not really involved in the entire process. And I think it goes both for sales and marketing when you see other people talking about like, hey, this was a complete fail. The agency didn't deliver. But what is the case though? Like it's typically not about
Yeah.
not enough expertise, but not enough alignment with your offer and what you're trying to communicate, right? So that's why I always say it's much better if you have the resources to do so, have somebody on the inside really working side by side with you so that there is enough clarity when it comes to the SOPs and infrastructure, right? So that's always
Yeah.
better. But okay, so you guys are basically intentionally slowing down the growth, making sure that you build the fundamentals so that you can scale further in the future. So
Right.
when it comes, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying that's exactly right. And also I love that you mentioned clarity. That's a word that I was trying to find in my brain, but that's exactly what it is. We're getting absolute clarity on what these SOPs are and what we want things to look like before we keep piling on the growth.
I think without it though, like the only thing that happens from a long-term standpoint is that the business comes crashing down. So
Yeah.
like whenever I hear somebody actually being like, "Hey, I'm taking the time building the right fundamentals," good for you. Right? That's exactly what you should do. But it really
Yeah,
looks like
thank
from the
you.
long-term perspective, you want to build something much bigger, right? This is going to be a big
Mm.
operation.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, we've got really
Mhm.
big, exciting plans.
Big goals here, big ambition. Okay, so
Uh-huh.
let's dive deeper into that though. If especially if you look at it from the short-term perspective, maybe just till the end of this year alone, what would you say are the biggest targets for you guys, the biggest goals, the milestone, maybe the revenue that you guys want to generate? What does it look like?
Yeah, I would say we're at a place where our revenue goals keep shifting because we grew a lot faster this year so far than we expected. And so we actually are not completely clear on what the revenue goal is going to look like for the end this year because we're going to grow the target. But um, yeah, I would say that most of the time our goals are based on how many clients we're bringing in rather than the revenue. Although this year we did actually set a revenue goal, and now we're 3 months into the year and we've already almost hit it. And so we're trying to figure out, do we shift this goal? I think right now we've decided we are still going to just focus on hitting this goal as fast as we can after taking some time to pause and make sure our fundamentals are in place. And then from there, we will adjust our goal as needed because the worst thing is to hit your goal early and be like, okay, this is great. Let's sit. Because, like we talked about, you're either growing or you're dying. Like, there's no, in business, the times that it's felt stagnant, it's really like one step forward, one step back. And so it feels like you're not going anywhere, but you're constantly going up and down and up and down. So we want to prevent that and we want to prevent going down. So yeah. So I think right now, I don't know. I don't want to say that we've like paused our growth goals because it isn't really pausing our goals in the sense that like us building the fundamentals is what's going to push us towards the goals. But we did stop in the last couple of weeks, stop really focusing on that because we want to make sure that our fundamentals are so solid. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I'm curious, what did you decide to do when it comes to the situation of like, you know that you need to really focus down on the systems, the processes that you have in place to make sure that you can even take the amount of clients that you're currently getting. Is this about like, hey, it's going to be a hit and miss. I'm going to try a couple of different things. I'm going to figure it out myself. Is it about you guys hiring a business coach, or how are you dealing with this current situation right now?
Yeah. I've worked with several business coaches over the years, and I actually currently don't have a business coach. I do feel like I've had enough coaching and enough stuff has worked for me that I know what to do, and it's just a matter of doing it. It's just a matter of doubling down. And so right now we're just in a season of action of just I'm trying to spend at least 80% of my time outsourcing things to my team and identifying what needs to be outsourced. So a lot of it is like working with AI to help get better SOPs and get more SOPs and going through making sure that we're not behind on certain things that we're doing for our clients' campaigns. And then identifying, okay, what parts of these am I still doing and what parts can I outsource out? And so some of it is quality control, but some of it it's like I can just use my eyeballs to check over it, or I can have somebody else. Like we have an editor on our team who edits all of our clients' content, and she's actually an English teacher. And so if she's the one that, if I can just loop her in on more of this stuff to be quality control for me, then I can completely step away and not be a bottleneck there. So yeah, so right now I think we're just really doubling down on taking action and just doing the things that we know need to be done, which is outsourcing more, training more out, that sort of thing.
Yeah, you said one thing, bottleneck, which brings me to my next question though. But out of everything, obviously, like I said before, there's a lot of moving pieces. So I'm curious about like what you see to like realistically be the biggest thing standing in a way of you guys growing more. What do you think is going to be the biggest challenge about it?
Ooh, yeah, probably just me. I think I'm the biggest bottleneck because I do our operations and marketing, and then my husband does our sales and our finance, and then we co-CEO. And I find that the operations is where it gets the stickiest because I want to deliver such great results. And it is so hard to let go. When I've always been the SEO expert, I've always been the SEO girl. It's so hard to step back and just let my team do all of it because I feel I don't know, it's scary. It's like these what ifs and what if balls get dropped or what if a client gets mad or whatever. And the reality is when I'm sticking myself into the processes and things need to come to my desk to check off first, or I need to be the one that maps out these changes before they get done. Like when it all comes back to me, that's actually when the results get worse because then things sometimes will sit on my desk a little bit too long and my team's like, hey, we've been waiting 2 business days for this. Like, come on, can you just check it off and let us go? Like they're ready to move and they're ready to complete their work and I'm the one stopping it. So yeah, so I think I am the biggest bottleneck. And I think too I tend to overcomplicate things. I think that that is just kind of what happens when you're a business owner and you have a lot of things to manage. Like, even though I try to stay in operations and marketing, the reality is there's a lot of pieces to both of those, but then there's also just a lot of pieces to owning a business, period. Like, I can't completely ignore the financial stuff, like payroll and taxes and all that stuff. Like, sometimes our sales needs my support a little bit. Like sometimes I jump in on sales conversations because of that. Like there's just a lot going on. And so it can be really easy to overcomplicate and to like make an SOP way longer than it needs to be, or I don't know, just making processes way too difficult. And so that's another way that I bottleneck our business is that I'm trying to just simplify as much as I can. I really believe fancy fails and simple scales. So I'm trying to simplify as much as I can.
How paradoxical it can be. But isn't this
Hmm.
beautiful? Like it's just a natural part of the journey. I feel like this is a big learning curve for anybody in business. And to be honest, if I, recollect those like my days of scaling my companies, I think this was the most beautiful thing about it. Like I had a lot of those moments where I felt like, hey, I know exactly what to do. But if you ask me that question like a week from that point, I would be like, dude, I have no idea what to do. Like how am I gonna go? But it's just ever changing, So like you
Uh-huh.
really have to stay on your toes. Beautiful, Britt. Again, I have too many questions for you, so we may need to do part two, maybe next year or something, so that we can really cover everything. But you managed to share a lot, so I really appreciate you taking the time sharing the story with me and the audience. Great conversation. And if we have anybody who's listening to us right now and would like to get in touch with you guys, or maybe just follow the journey, what is the best way for people to get in touch?
I would say probably our YouTube channel. We are still uploading content there every now and then, Instagram too. But if you go to YouTube and you just type in growing your traffic, you can find our channel. And I try to put a lot of traffic growth tips and things like that that you can implement yourself. And just also things to look out for so that if you are going to hire an agency, whether it's us or somebody else, you don't get screwed because there is a lot of snake oil in this industry, unfortunately. So you got to know what to look out for.
That's for sure. Thank you again. It was a pleasure to have you on here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Milan. This has been super fun.
Now, to our listeners, if today's conversation inspired you as well, make sure to subscribe to Founders Future on your favorite platform. And also, if you're a business owner, more specifically a consultant or a coach, or you have an agency and you're trying to scale the business and really enhance both your sales and marketing efforts, also visit closers.io. Get in touch with our team and discover how exactly we scaled our company from 0 to over 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on crushing it, and I'll see you on the next one.